Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk to you guys about Hulk. Now, I really enjoyed making the previous video about a week ago about Black Panther, how to make him great. So you guys can check that out if you haven't already. But not only did I enjoy making it, but the feedback from the video was awesome. You guys really enjoyed Where the fuck are you going, dude? Alright, sure. You guys really enjoyed talking about Black Panther. You guys really enjoyed, coming up theory crafting, coming up with new ways to make the character great. And there was a lot of earnest discussion about the character, not just like shit posting and whining and stuff like that. So I was really both pleasantly surprised, but also just generally really happy that that's the kind of response that I got. So I wanted to make another one, and who better to follow up Black Panther with than Hulk? So yeah, let's get into it, guys. Why did I pick Hulk, first of all? Well, if you don't know, and you should if you played this game, Hulk is one of the most beloved, iconic Marvel characters ever. He's one of the most popular characters in the comics. He always has a place among the biggest stars and the biggest names, Captain America, Avengers, all that stuff. He's one of the original Avengers. He's had 3 different actors try to play him in movies. Lou Ferrigno made an entire career out of playing this guy. So he's iconic as fuck, and he's just an amazing character. And on top of being an amazing character, he's a fucking badass. In the comics especially, they haven't done so well translating him into other mediums, but in the comics, he kicks ass and he takes names. I mean, the Hulk spawned the meme Hulk Smash that we see all over, shitposts and Instagram and all that crap, even now. So, who better a character to pick than the Hulk? And definitely, who better of a character to pick than the Hulk? Because sadly and unfortunately, in Future Fight, Hulk does not smash. Hulk gets smashed, actually. He basically is bottom tier. He's not good for anything except Shadowlands floors 1 through 4. His tier 2 is pathetic. It's a joke. It's so bad. You could actually die before it even gets triggered. He's a wet pancake, basically. Looks great, but tastes and performs like garbage. But let's try to see what's good about the character before we get to talk about what's bad and how to fix it. So if you guys were watching from the beginning, Hulk has pretty cool animations for his skills, especially with this World War Hulk uniform. He looks and kind of moves and feels like the Hulk when you're playing as him. He's a bit lumbering, but his attacks have a lot of impact. They're really animated well, and he plays a lot with the environment. And that's kind of the Hulk that we know and love. He jumps up, he lands, there's a fucking earthquake, he picks up just a huge piece of pavement and whips it at Hulkbuster. So they did get that part right, at least. And if you actually notice here, his physical defense and energy defense are actually quite high for any character in the game. My Hulk is only tier 1. He only has 17 on his gears. He doesn't even have an all defense obelisk. He's just got a damage obelisk going on for him. He has a pretty decent ISO set, but the ISO set doesn't give him any defenses. And yet, if you see there, he's got 7,000 physical defense and 5,000 energy defense. To put that into perspective, my tier 2 Groot, and keep in mind, Groot is a very tanky character, only has 7,300 physical defense. He's got a lot higher energy defense than Hulk, fair enough. But Hulk is pretty well statted for a character. He's got very high attack, and he's got very high defenses, and he's got pretty high HP as well. So they got the animations right. They got the look of the character right. I mean, he looks menacing as fuck. He looks super angry. Thankfully, he doesn't transform into Bruce Banner. They got his stats right, and, well, that's about it. Everything else about the character is pretty bad. I mean, I guess the native stats on his gear are good, but that's it. Everything else is pretty terrible. It sucks that we can't farm for him. I mean, how epic would it be if we had a World War Hulk epic mission where we could make Hulk great? That would be so cool. One more thing they did get right, actually, is they did give Hulk a lot of team-up bonuses to reflect how popular and how awesome he is in the comics. Like, look at all of these groupies. All of these want to get that Hulk dick, and, we can't blame them. But how do we fix Hulk? How do we make Hulk great? How do we, you know, change things around for him? How do we get in his corner again? Well, I was thinking about the Black Panther video, and I wanted to push forth, and I wanted to put out there another new mechanic that Netmarble could use specifically for the Hulk, and they could kind of apply this to other Hulk characters like She-Hulk and whatever. But I mean, she just got an overhaul, so probably not. But the what I wanted to suggest, and what I think would be really cool for the Hulk and definitely unique, I don't know what the fuck he's doing right now. I think he has a wall enrage timer. Basically, it's similar to She-Hulk's passive. For those of you that don't know, She-Hulk's passive is Defense Attorney, and when she gets hit by chain attacks, the damage is reduced by 5%. Now, it's not totally clear what chain attacks are, but I'm pretty sure based on the wording of getting hit or getting attacked, they mean to say that when you get hit by an attack that has more than one hit in it. So any kind of multi-hit attacks, you know, you can think of any of the missile attacks by Hulkbuster or Iron Man, any of the multi-hit moves by, you know, Red Hulk, you know, Shirog's attack, her five attack where she kind of pierces forward in a bunch of hits. Angela's got a bunch of moves that are 5 or 6 or 7 hits in a row. Any of those will have the damage reduced by 5%. So what I thought would be really cool for Hulk, and it would kind of very organically and very accurately represent his character in the comics, which I think they kind of tried to do with Gamma Overload, which is his tier 2 ability, but they didn't really get it right. If we kind of flip that script, and if we flip the script of the Defense Attorney passive that She-Hulk has, and instead we made it offensive. So what I mean to say is, I wish that, or it would be really cool if, for example, they changed Hulk's passive, Enraged, and instead, because I mean, let's be honest, this is a terrible passive. And instead, they made they keep the name Enraged, but for every successive hit that Hulk gets in without being interrupted, let's say there's a 2-second window in between those hits. But for every hit that he gets in, without any kind of delay of more than 2 seconds from the next hit will be increased by, let's say, 1%. The damage will be upped by 1%, and that bonus will stack again and again and again until it gets to, like, let's say, you know, 50%, and then it will reset, or it will stay there until you get stunned, or until you miss an attack, or they dodge, you know, they dodge the attack successfully and you don't get another one in. And that mechanic is really interesting for more than one reason. For the first reason is it definitely will give Hulk a huge damage boost, which he still needs given how you know, weak he is in general. He still, despite the fact that he has good stats, he still doesn't do that much damage, and his attacks are kind of slow. So because he can't get that many attacks off per second, you would need to have your timing down really well. So the other thing is, on top of boosting his damage, which he sorely needs, a mechanic like this would really reward intelligent gameplay, and it would reward intelligent mechanics and use of game design and stuff like that. And I really think that it could make the character feel a lot more like the Hulk, because the more successful you are as the Hulk playing with him manually and hitting those attacks, the stronger he's going to get, and the more Hulk-like, the more smashing he's going to do. And so it kind of builds that anticipation in the player's mind, and also in the feeling that they're getting as they're playing as Hulk, because they can see the numbers rising. You know, okay, I did the Hulk charge. The first time it did 5,000 damage. I did it just now, 7,000, 9,000, 13,000, 17,000, and the numbers are just going to grow and grow and grow. And it would be really, really cool, and it would also create a lot of counters, because then you'd have characters who want to build in, you know, a lot of CC to try to break Hulk out of his hit stacks, or you want to get characters that have lots of dodge, lots of iframes to try and avoid him or keep his hit stack counter low, because if it gets, you know, past 20, he's going to start one-shotting characters with his attacks. I'm not trying to make Hulk sound broken, or I don't want Netmarble to change him and make him a broken character, but I think that would you know, address the issues of his damage without resorting to something cheesy or something that we've seen so many times, like immunity or an invincibility bubble, or even, you know, we've kind of already started to see a lot of this damage accumulation stuff, like Gwen, Spider-Gwen has it, Shirag has it, Shang-Chi has it. There's a lot of characters that have that, so I'm kind of trying to steer away from that. And I know this suggestion kind of sounds like the bleed stacks suggestion that I was giving for Black Panther, but it's different because you have to keep attacking to get the bonus, and because instead of it being like a proc or a bleed effect, it's just passively being stacked on your Hulk, so that you can keep track of it more accurately yourself, and so that you can build more around it, because we don't have any way of increasing bleed damage with obelisks and stuff, but we could, you know, prioritize attack speed and stuff like that to try to get, or dodge ignore, for example, to try to get the most and the highest dodge damage stacks possible for our Hulk. But that's not all. I don't think that a damage increase is actually going to cut it for Hulk. I believe he actually needs two things to help him out, and I'm still trying to steer clear of really cliche things like clones and, you know, bubbles or guards and stuff like that. So I think that the next upgrade for Hulk should be something that reflects kind of the up and down nature of Hulk. What I mean to say is, in some comics and in some iterations, Hulk is really, really strong, and he's just a destroyer, and he just completely fucks everybody's shit up. But in other iterations, he's kind of not that impressive, or he kind of just gets in his own head, and he fails to deliver on his promise of Hulk smash. So to kind of in a way, you know, exemplify that randomness, it would be really cool if he had a passive, or if he had a skill similar to Thanos' Mad Titan skill. And I think the mad part of that name really reflects what I'm trying to say about Hulk kind of being a scatterbrained character. And basically it would be something similar to what Thanos has, where it's a very powerful effect. I mean, he gets immunity or a huge HP buff, but it's random, and it gets triggered when you hit, so you can kind of control it a little bit better, but it's random. You don't know what's going to happen, so you can't fully prepare for it. It's still a really powerful passive, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this passive sucks. It is really strong, but it's not really something that you can build around. So you would kind of have this interesting dichotomy of a character with Hulk, where on the one hand, he would have these hit stacks where you're trying to hit as many times as possible and kind of just go guns blazing to get Hulk's damage up really high, and then you can smash with that like last skill, Hulk smash, whatever, boom, just try to get maximum damage. At the same time, you're either going to be, you know, helped or not helped, depending on where that other passive falls, whether you're going to get a heal out of it or whether you're going to get another triggerable effect. Even to further that idea, they could have it be both an extremely positive benefit or a negative benefit. And negative benefit sounds redundant, or it sounds paradoxical, but what I mean is like negative effect. It could be either negative or positive, and that would be really interesting because they haven't really done something like that in the game before, where a character has a skill that actually is worse for them. And so what I mean to say is they could even take Thanos' idea, this kind of random application that triggers, you know, a quarter of the time, and it could be like either 50% HP recovery, which is insane, or, you know, reset all of Hulk's hit damage counters. So you could be racking up your counters, but then you're getting hurt and you're about to die, and then the heal triggers, and it just, you know, totally seals the game, totally seals that round, totally seals that boss fight, and Hulk just fucking runs him over like a train, which is what Hulk does at times. Or you're getting up to, you know, 15, 20, 30 stacks, you're low on health, you need something to proc your invincibility obelisk, your random heal from your passive, and suddenly it triggers, but it triggers with the wrong effect, and Hulk's damage just drops off a cliff, and you're like, fuck, I gotta try again. Hulk, you know, reverted back to Bruce Banner. They could even call it that, you know. The application for it is really, you know, there's a lot of room for creativity, and there's a lot of room for interpretation, given the character's rich history and given how he can still appear in the game and still be powerful but still feel balanced. So I really think that those ideas could really bring a fresh look and a fresh feel to the character, and it would, like, even any of those changes in any form would make me instantly tier 2 this character, because those kinds of mechanic rewarding gameplay features like Ant-Man's tier 2, and others, and what I talked about for Black Panther. All of those things just make the character so much more fun to play. It's still really fun to play as Ant-Man, because if you fuck up, you will die. You will be punished. You know, believe it or not, it's actually more fun to play as Ant-Man than to play with someone like Carnage, because Carnage is just paint by numbers. You just press the buttons, you follow through. It's satisfying to play as Carnage because you fucking run house, but it's more rewarded, and you feel better about your successes as a kind of fair and kind of sucky but fair character like Ant-Man. So that's what I'm proposing, and that's what I think they should do with Hulk. But of course, guys, as always, I'm really curious what you guys have to say. I'm really curious what you guys think about Hulk. How can we make Hulk great? I encourage you guys to try to be creative in the comments. Don't just slap something together about healing and invincibility, because, you know, that's kind of too easy. I know I kind of riffed on that a little bit, but with a different take. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts are. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Hulk smash.